there's a difference between saying something is bad and to lead to I'm bad and asking yourself, is it serving me? If the answer is yes, fuck what people think.
Right.
If it's a yes and tomorrow it's a yes and then the next week it's a yes and then next month it's a no, then you make a change.
Welcome to the Be It Till You See It podcast, where we talk about taking messy action knowing that perfect is boring. I'm Lesley Logan, Pilates instructor and fitness business coach. I've trained thousands of people around the world, and the number one thing I see stopping people from achieving anything is self-doubt. My friends, action brings clarity, and it's the antidote to fear. Each week, my guests will bring bold, executable, intrinsic, and targeted steps that you can use to put yourself first and be it till you see it. It's a practice, not a perfect. Let's get started.
Welcome back to the Be It Till You See It interview recap, where my co-host in life, Brad, and I are going to dig into the authentic convo I had with Anthony Benenati in our last episode. If you haven't yet listened to that one, you've missed out.
You definitely missed out.
I don't like to go around saying you made mistakes, but
you did.
You don't suck or anything, but all right. Before I get into that, today is August 28th, 2025, and it is National Rainbow Bridge Remembrance Day. And on this day, of course, it's going to say Rainbow Bridge twice. So the death of a beloved pet, whether it's the family dog, a furry kitty, or something a little more obscure, is a sad occasion. Rainbow Bridge Remembrance Day on August 28th is a day that we remember the pets that are no longer with us. Whilst the pain of losing a pet, you can't laugh while we're talking about dead dogs, babe. But we are laughing because Rainbow Bridge Remembrance Day is a day we remember our pets. We got that from Remembrance, like we got it. Okay. Anyways, whilst the pain of losing a pet somewhat heals over time, they're never forgotten, and today is their day. The day was founded by author Deborah Barnes as a way for people to share their memories of the pets that they have lost, whether it's a dog, a hamster, or a snake, or, anything in between. Oh, maybe this is the day that we maybe actually say it.
That's what I was thinking.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
Do you want to say it?
Yeah, I do. Also, I think it's great that it's in the month of August.
I know. It's
if
like we knew.
If you didn't know, Lesley and I have only one dog now, and it's been a couple of months that we lost August as well. And when I say as well, what I mean is last year we lost Gaia towards the end of the year. And then about 6 months later, we also lost August. And that was really, really challenging and not something that we talk about very often.
I know. Well, because there's a difference. And I think that's what is important about this day. And if you needed this day, it's like it was something easier. I mean, it felt really hard at the time when we had to pick a day to say goodbye to Gaia. We knew for years the day was coming.
Yeah.
And we could see it was time. And we had a different situation with August where it was just like, oh.
It was unexpected.
This is happening today.
Yeah.
And that's just not enough time for your brain to not that we miss them differently, but I do. It's just a different grief. It felt like a different grief.
It felt like a different grief. I felt like with Gaia, I had a lot more opportunity to say goodbye ahead of time.
Yeah.
And then when it was gone, it was fond memories. With August, it felt like shock and sadness.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, with her, I felt like, okay, she's going to be better because she was just having a hard time being alive.
Yeah.
And he was so young. So that just felt like it was hard. It was awful. We didn't talk about it because there's when you share that someone passes away or a pet passes away, there's an outpouring of love because of this world we live in. You can say what you want about the negative sides of social media, but the positive sides are insane. It's like the people from your life 10 years ago. And because people have had pets, they feel it.
Yeah.
When you lose a pet and you see someone, you feel that loss with them because you know what it feels like. And in no way were we capable of handling any I'm sorry. You like, I couldn't. And like,
Yeah.
even now we're getting teary. So anyways, we have one amazing dog.
Yeah.
And if you know this about OPC, well, all of our companies do a little donation to a charity. It's built into all of our products and our profit margins. And OPC this year, I chose a dog charity in town because they get like 500 animals like a week. And like, they're trying really hard to be a no-kill shelter. And I like literally look at dogs with Brad, like, look at this one. Like we're gonna take this on. And as much as like, I'm like, oh, that fills this hole. Then I'm like, it doesn't fill the hole. So like, anyways, National Rainbow Bridge Remembrance Day from our hearts to all of yours who've lost a pet. It's so hard. So anyways. Okay. So in other news, we are back from our tour, as you heard last time, but we are literally leaving in like 4 days to go to the UK. And we opened up a la carte workshops, which means that if you can't take a whole day off with us, it's quite possible there is a spot left in a workshop. So we just took the day passes and allowed people to buy a workshop. So there might be 1 or 2 workshops that you can snag your spot in. So go to opc.me/UK because we're going to be in Essex and Leeds. And I don't know when we'll be back teaching in the UK, but I know we're going to be there now. And it's going to be so much fun. There's some great workshops. There's some business ones. There's some Pilates ones. They're for people who like us and love us and just want to learn with us. They're really absolutely amazing. So thank you to our hosts from the Movement Base and Chapel and Pilates. Then we come back and like 2 weeks later, we leave for Chicagoland. We're going to be at Balanced Bodies POT. And I'm teaching the Joe's Gyms there. Brad's going to have, like, Brad and I is helping me with the booth. And it's in Burr Ridge, but they call it Chicagoland. And I like that. And from Chicagoland, we're going to go to Cambodia. And you know what? We've had people last minute join us. So like we said, you could join like 2 weeks before. So crowsnestretreats.com if you are feeling ambitious and wanting to get the heck out of town because there's a lot going on and maybe you just want to take a break. So crowsnestretreats.com. And then what?
Well, we're actually working on lining up a workshop and some classes in Singapore right now.
I know.
Which would be awesome. We'll see. I would say at this point, if it hasn't come together, then we have a problem if you're listening to this now. But right now we're working on it when we're recording this. So we're going to say, yeah, it happened. It definitely happened. We got a workshop coming in Singapore.
It's going to happen because, hello, I mean, it's not very often in Singapore that I have a layover during daylight hours.
That's right.
And so we're going to there's people who want it.
It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
But anyway, we've been looking at different venues right now and we're lining it all up. So yeah. And then after we get back from Singapore, we actually are home for about a month, which is quite nice to chill out. We have some family coming into town, and then we go on our winter tour for OPC, where we're driving another 8,000 miles this year. Last year, we did 8,200 over the winter. This year is going to be less miles, more stops. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Less miles, more stops. But it's going to be awesome. We are stoked.
You know what's really funny, guys? Okay, so the team, like, I see the map. I see where we're going. I give some inputs on some places. I'm like, yeah, I'll do that, whatever. But then they don't actually always tell me, like, all the events we're doing. So, like, this week, all the private events because, like, studios that host us can also, like, hire us for an event just for their team.
Sure.
Right? So there's a public class and a public workshop. And then sometimes there's a private workshop. And apparently there's a lot more than workshops that I thought on the summer tour. So I am interested to see this winter tour. I expect lots of gifts and lots of hugs. But we'll announce the winter tour in October. So if you are in Cambodia with us, you'll hear it all announced.
Yes, you will.
Okay. Before we get into Anthony's incredible episode, what is the question of the week?
Yeah, this is great. So I don't actually know how to say this.
I think it's Netta Menash.
Menash.
Yeah.
Yeah. Netta Menash.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. On Instagram, she asked, "Hey, Lesley, do you do any Zoom sessions sometimes?"
Sometimes I do.
Sometimes.
That's true.
Yeah.
Who gets them? It's going to sound like I'm an asshole, but the people who get Zoom sessions with me are people who are in my mentorship program, to be completely honest. I don't have a lot of hours in a week that I can teach because we run OPC, we run Profitable Pilates, you know, and we do have the mentorship program. So the limited times that I have are for those in that program. And then sometimes OPC members get access to that calendar. But basically, as you can hear, no one publicly gets access to those things. So as much as I'd love to teach the world on Zoom, that the way I can do that is through OPC, actually, because we have a monthly live class, and we can hang out afterwards, and I can look at your form. I can answer your questions.
Yeah.
You don't even have to come to the live class when I look at your form. You can submit videos, and I can give you feedback. So if you're wanting me to give you feedback on some exercises, be an OPC member. If you're a teacher, you can go through Elevate. We only have a few spots there. We're OPC. It's obviously as many people
Open
as
to
want.
the world.
Open to the world.
But
And-
yeah, I mean, with Elevate, if you're actually looking for specific feedback on your practice and you want to really grow, Netta, you should be considering Elevate. It's for teachers. It's a 9-month program. It's like, consider it like going and getting a master's degree somewhere. It's very in depth in what it covers. It's going to run through everything that Lesley learned from Jay Grimes, who studied with Joe. So you're going to be covering 500 exercises. It's going to be amazing. During that time, your personal practice will significantly grow, and you'll also have Lesley will be, watching your practice during those 9 months too. So that's like the best way to make that happen. Just reach out or go to lesleylogan.co/elevate, or you can book a call. I'm super happy to hop on a call and just say what's up.
I mean, it's a great problem to have, and I actually used to teach this long. I've been teaching online. I used to teach on Skype, and I used to teach people all over the world on Skype.
2015,
Yeah.
16, 17, Skype.
Yeah, Skype. Oh my God.
I know, I remember
or
adding
sometimes
that to the
Facebook Messenger, because Skype wasn't working
Right.
or whatever. Like, but I was like, anything that has a video, I can teach on it. And, but yeah, I think like we do have some great opportunities to work together in person between the tours and Cambodia. And then the online stuff is that's
another great one. You could come with us to Cambodia, Netta, where you'll be doing 5 classes with Lesley during the retreat. And obviously, it's not a large group, so you can come there and be in person.
Yeah. So you guys send in your questions. You can you'll literally hear honest feedback and answers, and we love answering them. Like, I want questions about your wedding. I don't know, like, give me some good ones. Go to beitpod.com/questions to submit them, or text us at 310-905-5534. It doesn't yet mean beitpod, but we're getting
No, it's not going to mean beitpod. Not anytime soon.
I know.
So I love that you're wishful thinking here. It's, low on the list.
Being until I see it on a new phone
low
number.
on the priority list.
All right.
I love you.
Love you too.
Stick around. We'll be right back. We're going to dig into one of my really dear friends who I've now known for more than a decade. And he's just inspirational in multiple ways, being a yogi, but also, he's a philosopher too. So cannot wait to dig into this combo that you have with Anthony Benenati. You're really going to enjoy. If you haven't already gone back and listened to that, you should. But yeah, looking forward to it. Stick around. We'll be right back. All right, let's talk about Mr. Anthony Benenati, a professional yoga teacher with over 32 years of experience. Before stepping into yoga, Anthony served in the Air Force and worked as a competitive powerlifter. I don't know if he worked at it, but he was a competitive powerlifter, which left him with shoulder and knee injuries. In fact, he told me when he was younger, he couldn't even touch his toes. Today he's like, obviously been doing yoga for 3 decades. He founded City Yoga, which was California's first Anusara studio. And he now leads That's Not Yoga. That's his website, that'snotyoga.com. He's actually also done a lot of business stuff, and because he sold studios and he taught for other people, and he's done workshops and holds retreats, all sorts of stuff. Anthony's philosophy is to fit yoga to the student, making sure the practice leads to transformation and healing, not to suffering. And he teaches students to listen to their bodies every day, meeting themselves where they're at with their openness and compassion.
Yeah.
And I think that is a really great summary of, who he is. But I would also say he rides a motorcycle, he drinks beer, he curses, he's fucking cool and hip. And that's one of the things that I connected with him the most about, is because I had this preconception of what's a yogi. And
I mean, your first class was like a bit like the typical yoga instructor, like this little soft-spoken older lady.
No. I had so that was the first teacher that I actually learned from. And she was super sweet and nice. But yes, the class was literally for like elderly people. And I was like, teach me the foundations. And I liked the class because she let her students ask questions during class. And I was like, I don't understand this pose. How does it work? And it effectively was like,
in case you haven't noticed, Brad, guys, Brad literally interrupts all classes to ask questions. Like all classes, he asks questions. He comes on the retreat and he'll just pop into a class and then he's got a question. It's like, we actually talked about that yesterday and you missed class, but okay.
So, but my very first class was hilarious because I'm like, you know, my nickname in yoga class was Shark Boy or Mr. Bendy. And I'm a hypermobile body, so naturally flexible. And I get to my first yoga class ever was a Groupon that I bought. And I showed up for class and I'm in the middle of like 30 or 40 people. And I don't have a clue what I'm doing. I'm watching this guy up in the front, you know, do all the things. And I was like, okay, we're sticking our arm over there. We're shouting our leg over this way. We're twisting and blah, blah, blah. And at the end of the class, he came up to me and he's like, wow, man, you have a great practice. And I was like, this is my very first class. And he was like, what? And I was like, yeah. And then I left the studio and I walked out to my motorcycle and I could not get onto it.
Because you did way too much.
I hurt myself so bad that I literally had to sit there for like an hour just for my back to not be screaming at me. And I was like, well, yoga's not for me. And I just was like, I'm done. And then I never, you know, like I never went back. And but I had that Groupon, right? And so anyway, somehow I ended up using it and I bought another package somewhere with Anthony because the studio was convenient. But I only went.
So your first class wasn't with Anthony.
No. My first class was not with Anthony. But like a year or two later, I was like, I'm going to give this another try. And I did buy like a 10-pack at Anthony's studio. And I used and he didn't have an expiration on it. Right. So, but I only used like 2 classes. And then I did no yoga for like years. And then there was a point where I was like, I need to go back to class. And I called the studio. He had sold it. And, you know, so I was like, hey, I had this package with the old studio, you know, and I wasn't even taking with Anthony. I had been taking with that lady, that older lady, but I still had packages. It just so happened to be Anthony's studio. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So when I went back, Anthony was the teacher and that's how I first met him. And I was like, who the hell is this guy? He's awesome. This is rad. And then I was like hooked. I was in. This is probably like 2014.
Yeah.
So I'd been dabbling in yoga for like maybe 3 years, but not really.
I love how 2 or 3 times in 2 years is dabbling.
Yeah. Well, with the older lady whose name I don't remember, and I feel bad about that. I probably went, you know, I bought a few 10-packs. You know, I went a few times.
It wasn't clear that there was a multiple 10
yeah,
packs.
sorry. I went
right.
a few times. Like
All
I
right,
had enough.
Every time I've heard this story, it has
but
always sounded like one 10-pack, and it's like, well, you get a couple of times. It's not dabbling.
No, I went. Yeah, I went enough to like decide that yoga wasn't going to hurt me if I knew what I was doing.
Okay.
But, you know, I didn't actually it didn't turn it into a habit or a practice. I just went a few times. And then, you know, it wasn't until, you know, a year later that I went back to redeem the rest of my package that studio had sold. I didn't even know it. And I was like, well, they're going to honor it. I already have classes there. I'll just go there. And then I happened to pop into a class that was Anthony's. But wow, that was a long story that has nothing to do with anything.
Speaking of Anthony.
Yeah. Let's shift on from your convo, which was deep.
It was deep. I knew it would be. I knew it would be so good. But I think for all the teachers, no matter what you teach, this is a really great thing. Anthony says he believes that the most effective teacher is someone who understands how people get to the practice. And this,
well, you just found out.
Yeah. Well, but like, right. But like, I think this goes to, you know, we coach a lot of Pilates instructors and they're like, I want to work with an advanced person. All they want to do is lose weight. And it's like, right. And we don't want you to lie to people, but you have to understand what gets people to the practice so that you can have empathy for them being a beginner, because they should be allowed to be a beginner. And we don't want them to feel shame for what they think they want in their life, because that's a compilation of years of stories and influence, good or bad, and in the conversation we talked, there's no such thing as good or bad, but like to someone. And so how can you really have a lived experience so that you can, in whatever it is you're teaching, so that you can come from a really great place, an honest place, and be human, like I think a lot of instructors put themselves up on pedestals, cult leaders, and forget that like you are also in practice when you teach something that's a practice, right? And so he also said, empathy is such an important factor to be a great teacher. You have to be able to put yourself in their shoes. And this is something like, look, of course I have days where I get tired and I'm like, why don't they just fucking relax and stop trying to be perfect? Like, I don't understand. Like, I don't fucking just relax, just be in practice. But also I know what that is like. I know why they can't do it. I know that they have years of like being for whatever, like somebody told them that maybe the perfection is because they kept the house safe. There's so many different reasons why people seek perfection. They want certainty. They want control,
Yeah. I mean, it could be a response from uncertainty in another area of their life where they feel like this is where I can have certainty because I know exactly how it's supposed to be, and then it becomes this thing.
Yeah. But I catch myself because sometimes like, I'm like, oh, and it's like, oh, wait, hold on a second. I've been here. So what was I going through and what actually got me to like, let go of that and get back into that empathy, because it actually is what helps guide people on the path to being more themselves, to connecting to themselves, to having a personal practice. So it was just like,
yeah, Anthony was talking about his ego was the thing that brought him to the practice because he was like...
Which is the irony of yoga.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, it was actually anger that brought me to the practice. And
I just went to yoga with you because I thought you were cute. I was going to yoga already, and I was like, okay, I'll go to that class with him because he's cute.
But I was angry that I couldn't do it, and that was also ego. But like I was angry outside. I was angry at my ex, right? And I was angry that I couldn't figure it out. And I was angry that I was just angry. And then what I knew was that after I had beat the shit out of myself in a yoga class, I felt better. Then, like, ironically, and like, if, talk about controlling, like I wanted every single answer to every possible understanding of the movement. And then there was stuff that I was like, couldn't do. And it generally, like, ironically, I was flexible, but I wasn't flexible enough in my own mind. And I definitely wasn't strong. And, I think that anger, like, pushed me through the strength training barriers of where I was like, I need to be able to hold this pose for whatever, 10 seconds. I don't know, like, whatever it was, like, and it was like, I mean, I'm glad I didn't hurt myself, to be honest, during it. But it was, it took me a solid 6 months to enjoy the practice, because I was just frustrated at everything.
Yeah, I think like had you come to it for a different way, you might like it might have been a different thing, but maybe you wouldn't have practiced that hard. Like I think that's what the point is. Like, what if we allowed our journey to whatever it is, just be that? I think a lot of people want to change the past. They want it to be a different way that they got into something. I remember like how I got into Pilates. I thought it was BS. And I remember not telling anyone that story for years. Like I was so embarrassed that I actually thought that Pilates was a gimmick. I really was. I was like, oh my, and then also on top of that, because when I became a Pilates instructor, most of the teachers were dancers. So here I was, one of the few in my world, not in the world, but in my world, LA, that was a non-dancer. And I thought it was bullshit. Like I was just like, I'm just gonna be in the back. I'm in the back and no one's gonna know. But then I realized like, actually, like how I got to Pilates is probably how a lot of people think about Pilates. And what if I actually just like lean into the empathy of that? And it might actually allow more people to come to the practice, because then they don't feel stupid or silly or weird for thinking it's not going to work.
Right.
And it found, the more I talked about how I wasn't a dancer, the more teachers were like, oh, I'm not one either. And then made them feel good. And so like, what if we all just own the story that we have? It might actually make us all have more community and connection to different people.
Yeah. I mean, it makes you relatable, makes as a teacher, it makes you relatable when you're willing to, share the things that I think there's always oversharing can be wrong, but like, I think it's hard to know what will be received well. And so I feel like that there's fear there. And that's why, you're like, man, maybe I shouldn't share that. But then like when, if and when you do, it's like, oh, well, I'm not alone in this. And other
Yeah.
people are probably also not sharing. And now they feel permission to,
Yeah.
commiserate or
Yeah.
connect or, makes them feel better about themselves too. So yeah.
Yeah. Love it. Okay. What did you love?
Yeah. So I loved this idea of good and bad. He said yoga doesn't actually see things as good and bad. It's not like you have a good practice or a bad practice, or you're a good yogi or a bad yogi. He said that yoga kind of sees things more in the, does it work or is it not working? And he was talking about the specifically, like when we were talking about this, it was more talking about habits. It's like the habit is there, whether it's a quote unquote good habit or a bad habit. We're taking that and setting that aside. Instead, it's a, how is this habit serving me? Is it working for me or is it not working for me? Right. And specifically, you were like, maybe you get frustrated that you sit there and scroll on Instagram all day long, but maybe you can see that as a good thing because you actually need a moment to just like not think.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. We also, we talked about, like he said, some people would say it's bad to drink, but like if that drink made you relax and connect with your family, like, is it bad?
Right.
And I think like, is it wrong? So I've heard this before in a couple different things. Obviously, like there are things that cannot be great for you, but the difference is like, is it serving you? Is it serving you? And it's okay for something to serve you and not serve somebody else.
Or what is coming from it that could be serving you, right? Like it might not be the thing that is serving you. Like the alcohol itself might not be beneficial, but the quality time that you spent with family when consuming the alcohol, that is worth doing, right? So
yeah,
there's I still love the idea that like everything in moderation, including moderation.
But I think the point is, because I think about Brene Brown. She's come to my head a couple times in this conversation. Guilt versus shame is her thing, right? Like I think some people shame themselves. I had a drink last night.
Yeah.
Versus like I spent time with my family and I had a drink. And I love spending time with my family. I don't love that I had the drink, but when I had the drink, it let me forget about the work that I had so I could spend my family. So I do need to figure out a way to forget about work so I can spend time with my family, but we don't have to have shame around the drink.
Right.
Because, and I think that's where it's like, we have to be kinder to ourselves. I think people just walk around. It's on the internet, right? People just shame people all the time. That's bad. That's wrong. You did that wrong. Like no one is going, way to go. Like, when's the last time you told a stranger?
We do it in OPC. We definitely try to celebrate it with OPC.
That's all that's allowed.
And I was gonna circle this right back around to your Pilates practice or your yoga practice, because when I first got into yoga, that was how I treated myself. I'm not good enough. I'm doing it wrong. I'm not doing it well. It's not good. Like I'm not a good yogi yet. And I was judging myself, but I was angry. I was angry at myself. I was angry at the world, and like, but I knew that like physically my body, like you ever felt like so frustrated you just have to go run? You ever felt like that where like running is somehow going to like be the thing? And like that was like, because you get that endorphins released and all that stuff. And that was what I was looking for without really understanding it. I just knew that I felt better after class.
Yeah.
And because I was also more relaxed and like my mind wasn't like freaking out all the time, at that point. But it still took time for me to, it took years for me to stop judging my own practice. And like the idea that.
But I think, going back to like, there's a difference between saying something is bad and to lead to I'm bad, and asking yourself, and if we could just catch ourselves now, because this is why I loved this conversation, is it serving me? If the answer is yes, fuck what people think.
Right.
If it's a yes, and tomorrow it's a yes, and then the next week it's a yes, and then next month it's a no, then you make a change.
Sure.
But
you can make a choice.
But I think some people are using judgment on good or bad, on things that are serving them, and then they're fucking stuck. Like if you had not gone to yoga because I'm bad, it makes me feel like, so I'm not like yoga would become the thing that's wrong. And then like, you know what I mean? So like, is it serving me? It's serving me to go because I'm angry and I can be angry and it's serving me. And then all of a sudden the anger at yoga no longer served you and you let it go. So I think like there's a couple different ways to see this.
The anger at me.
Yeah.
No longer serving me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you had to let it go. So I think, what if we could all stop, and this is something we can catch ourselves doing it here at this household, you and me together, but also like our coworkers, your friends, like if you go, I know it's bad that I do this, pull that rubber band. Is it serving me that I do this? Right?
Yeah.
Is it serving me that I do this? And if you can honestly say yes, then let the fucking guilt go because it's not helping you.
You said pull that rubber band?
You have a rubber band on your wrist.
Yeah. Snap it.
Snap it.
Like hit the reset button.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's, he took it a little bit differently in the conversation because he was talking about all things serve a purpose, even if we look at it and say that's bad, because, he said we wouldn't know love without hate, joy without pain.
I can think of a few people that I could still think the world's a better place if they weren't in it. I'm just going to say we all know. But like,
but it's but
I get the point.
It's
yes.
perspective, right?
Mm-hmm.
It allows us to actually understand what we have in our world that is amazing. Because we can also see, oh, damn, that is not amazing over there. That's not giving, that is not working. That would not work for me.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I mean, that would not work for me. So, he said it's a balance, and it's, and each scenario you find yourself in, you can find that balance between, is it working for me or not working for me? Or is it the good and the bad?
Yeah.
Right. How can it be working for you?
I mean, I love it because like BJ Fogg always said, there's no such thing as bad habit. Every habit you have is serving some function. Now, there might be habits you don't like or are no longer serving you, but they're a habit. But you cannot say there's a bad habit because it is providing something in your brain that's kicking off a dopamine. Otherwise, your brain wouldn't seek doing it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So I
always thought about that too with like food. There's something, even if it's like quote unquote bad habit of like eating all the time, or like maybe you have like a consistent, like I eat late or whatever, and that it's like not physically helping you. There's still something in your head that's like, I need that thing, whatever that thing is, I need that glass of orange juice,
right.
I need the sugar.
Well, because it could be, it brings relief.
Sure.
Right. It's distraction.
Yeah.
It might calm you down. There's so many different things that our habits do. So if there's something that you feel no longer serves a purpose in your life, right? You have to explore that and not judge that. I'm going to do a whole series on habits, actually. So we can continue this conversation on this, like it's now an 8-episode series I'm going to do about habits.
Really?
Oh, Brad has no idea.
What?
Yeah.
Tell me more.
Oh my God. I'm doing a whole episode, like a whole series on
where?
On the pod.
Oh.
I'm just taking over and not interviewing people for a few weeks, and I'm going to tell you how to fucking do a habit. And we're also going to talk about unraveling habits that no longer serve you.
All right, you heard it here first, y'all.
So
surprise.
The homework from this episode is just start taking notice of things the habits you have, the routines you have that no longer serve you. And then we can bring that to the series, which will come out. I think it's going to come out either in December or January. So
cool.
Yeah.
All right. That's really fun. Well, stick around. We'll be right back. We're going to dig into those beit action items that you covered with Anthony, which were also fantastic. So yeah, stick around. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Let's dig into those beit action items that you had.
You guys, I'm notorious for like, yeah, I'm ready. And then I just look down. Yeah. And he's like, just wants me to look at the camera when he says, welcome back. So I'm sorry, everyone. Here we are. Welcome back. Say it with him. What bold? You're not going to say it with me? What bold? Executable, intrinsic, or targeted
action items can we take away from your combo with Anthony Benenati?
Just so you know, I always fade out even when we sing happy birthday because I don't like how I sound. Okay. I'm going first, babe. Here we go. I'm taking away because there's just too many things I loved. So he states that it's important that we actually we focus on three things when you want to do things that you want to do. So first of all, to do anything you want to do, you have to actually have the desire to do it. If you don't have the desire to do it, you won't put the effort forward. Has anyone ever said like, oh, I'm going to learn Spanish, and then you don't learn Spanish? So you have to have the desire to do it. We're going to talk about this in the Habits series. I love it. Knowledge. You have to learn to do it. He actually said just doing something without knowing how to do it can cause you harm. This is very true. You have to actually learn how to do it. I'm actually trying to learn how to do tarot because I we have a tarot episode coming out, and I want to understand how to do it better. And tarot is a personal relationship with yourself. It's asking yourself questions, and I don't want to do it wrong. I want to have a really good understanding of it before I start journaling and pulling cards and really doing it for real. And then third is action. Then you simply have to do it. But beyond doing it just once, you must commit to doing it over and over and over again to create meaningful change. And I love this so much. We have to be okay with being beginners. We have to be okay for having to be being on a journey of learning. And then you just keep doing it. And it's really amazing how when you do that, it's like there's deeper levels of everything that we do. And it's just so good. I am loving. I love this. I love this triad. Okay, Brad.
Yeah, I think that idea of desire, knowledge, and action is so obvious, but we often will skip one of the steps.
Sometimes people skip desire.
That's what I'm saying.
It's terrible. That's a bad one.
I'm doing it because I have to, or I'm doing it for somebody else, but really you don't fucking want to. And so it actually sets you up to fail from the gate, right? Because what's going to happen? You're going to do it, and it's going to build frustration or resentment, or like you mentioned with step 2, if you skip knowledge, you could hurt yourself. And then, there's step 3, which is actually being consistent with it. You can have the desire to learn. You could even learn how to do it, but then if you don't do it.
Right. Because some people won't do things because they're too new at it, Okay.
Yeah.
Your beit action items, your takeaways.
Okay, so he was talking about being careful with language, and you mentioned this too, right? How your body actually learns, your body responds to the way that you think, and the things that you say impact, what you think is what you're going to say, and what you think your body is also going to do.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Your body's not going to go rogue on you.
Right. So, for example, you were talking about, I never lose weight, or I'm never going to get stronger, or, or I was thinking about just the other day. I had somebody come, we had somebody come to our place, and we were just taking photos, and the person said, oh, no, that's my bad side. And then shifted to the other side of the photo so they could get it. And I was like, that's of course we've all heard that, and it sounds like so Hollywood, but it's also, that's a shame.
Well, also because you have confirmation bias. You actually always see the thing that you're saying is bad.
Yeah.
But your body listens. If you say you have a weak arm, your body's not going to go, let me show you how strong I am.
Yeah.
No, it's just not going to happen. And you'll treat it that way. So I really think language, being careful with it, is something we could all pay attention to.
Yeah, and then the other side of it too is, let's say you have the desire and the action, the knowledge, and you're putting it into action. The way that you put it into action today might be different than the way you put it into action yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And I think I had, especially with my yoga practice, never fully embraced this idea ever. So for 10 years, I was like, I can always go further than I did the day before. That's just the way I always looked at it. It wasn't until I started lifting weights that I truly looked at it like, I just can't today. Whatever, like if last week I did 150 pounds, I just feel like wimpy today. I'm not going to be able to do it. And I could actually hurt myself.
Yeah.
Right?
That's why my trainer has me on a deload week. Because it's important for your central nervous system to think things are a little easier. Can't always be building. You have to calm it down.
Yeah.
So it's so true. The way we approach things has to be different if we're listening to our body.
Yeah, and So yeah, listening to your body, being careful with your language, being willing to not, whatever, reach the goal or hit to be the epitome of the pose, or, in my case, it was often handstand, when it was yoga, or for lifters, it's like, I got to hit my max. Last max was, this, so I got to at least hit that and then more, right? Like being willing to be like, okay, maybe right now it's okay if it's different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting how like some of those things just you learn with age, but
I think
also
with age and also like death. I never felt like I was going to hurt myself in yoga. I never felt like I could crush my skull. Like if you're benching and you have too much weight, your body could slip and fail, and you could have 150 pounds crashing on your body. Like that was the moment where I was like, oh, okay.
So there it is, Anthony. We should have just figured out how to teach Brad. He could have died. He could have fucking broken his neck. Oh my God. Okay, now we know.
But also that's translated, like it took me an opportunity to learn. And then, now when I'm going back into my yoga practice, it doesn't have to be like to the nth degree every single time.
Yeah, I just show up. Like that's where I'm at. I'm really enjoying just showing up. I'm so glad I get to do that. I'm like, I'm here today.
I also feel a lot stronger too, and less flexible, and I acknowledge
You're
that.
no longer Shark Boy.
No. I mean, I don't think so.
No,
I'm still flexible, but I'm not like I was. Like before,
you have mobility.
Yeah, but I could put my foot behind my neck,
I know,
behind my head.
I know, but we need strength as we get older. It's really fucking hard to put it on. Anyways, this whole episode has so many gems. I really enjoyed like reliving it.
Yeah.
I think it's one that's worth going back to, and I think it's got a takeaway you might listen to differently each time you hear it. So listen to it again. And I'm Lesley Logan.
And I'm Brad Crowell.
Thanks for listening. I want to hear reviews. I want to hear takeaways. I want your fucking questions sent in to beitpod.questions. Also your wins. I want your wins. I want a lot. Okay?
Yeah,
I want a lot.
We want it all.
Yes. I'm not going to sing that song for you. Until next time, be it till you see it.
Bye for now.
That's all I got for this episode of the Be It Till You See It podcast. One thing that would help both myself and future listeners is for you to rate the show and leave a review. And follow or subscribe for free wherever you listen to your podcast. Also, make sure to introduce yourself over at the Be It Pod on Instagram. I would love to know more about you. Share this episode with whoever you think needs to hear it. Help us and others be it till you see it. Have an awesome day.
Be It Till You See It is a production of the Bloom Podcast Network. If you want to leave us a message or a question that we might read on another episode, you can text us at +1 310 905 5534 or send a DM on Instagram at BeItPod.
It's written, filmed, and recorded by your host, Lesley Logan, and me, Brad Crowell.
It is transcribed, produced, and edited by the epic team at Disenyo.co.
Our theme music is by Ali at Apex Production Music, and our branding by designer and artist Gianfranco Cioffi.
Special thanks to Melissa Solomon for creating our visuals.
Also to Angelina Herrico for adding all of our content to our website. And finally, to Meredith Root for keeping us all on point and on time.